Hello, besties. Welcome back to Unfiltered Chats with Andrea. Woo. Today, I really wanted to talk about something that I've been very passionate about at work, something that I've been very passionate about in my personal profession, and something that just doesn't get talked about enough. I'm sure you've all seen the plethora of shit that's outside on your social media, on your phones, just constantly people bombarding with this idea of you need more habits. You need these 5 steps to be successful. You need to have more discipline. You're just lazy. You need to get better. You need to be more successful. You need to have more determination, motivation. You need to have this tool, that outfit, this instrument to unlock your true potential. And I am just so tired of people constantly blaming the individual, blaming the fact that they aren't good enough themselves, and therefore this particular thing is going to help them get there. I think the onus has constantly been on the person, and I disagree. I strongly believe that your environment creates the perfect setup for whether you are successful or not. In other words, this is called environments of concern. Something that I have been doing quite a lot in my field of work is analyzing people's environments. So to give you context, I work with people with disabilities, people with mental health problems, and what I do is I often improve their quality of life, advocate for them, advocate for their families. And one of the first things that I look at is their environment. You know, are they set up for success, or are there physical, ongoing environmental factors that limit them to be successful? You know, even looking in my own life, a couple years ago, I first came to Australia, you know, on my own as a student. I migrated here and I didn't have any family at that time with me. I didn't have access to healthcare, psychology sessions, institutional support, trying to make a career during COVID. I didn't have many informal supports either. I didn't have friends that I could just call, you know, and say, hey, I need help. Can you help me? I didn't have family to rely on. I just relied on myself. And when you look at that, when I look at my immediate environment a couple years ago, I was not set up for success. I was crumbling, and I absolutely was. But you know what my thought process was during that time? It was, I'm not disciplined enough. I need to do more. I need to do more X, Y, Z. Oh my God, look at this person. They're achieving so much more than I am. Why? Why can't I be more like them? You start to blame not only yourself, but other people kind of feed into that way of thinking. Fast forward now, I have an amazing job that I love. I have a house that is peaceful, that's calm. I have a supportive partner. I have few friends that I can really rely on. And through setting up my environment successfully, I have now been able to have the space, mental capacity, and time to just think about, what is it that I love? What is it that I want to do? What is it that can better myself in the environment? You know, I absolutely have a pet peeve with people micro-focusing on, you need to make your bed. You need to wake up at this certain time to be successful. You need to exercise. You need to eat healthy, and then you're going to be successful. Keep in mind that I was doing all of that 2 years ago, or even a year ago. But those healthy habits did not make me feel successful, did not increase my capacity to be who I am, to actually have the space and time to grow into the person that I'm growing now. Like, I was healthy according to, you know, everyone online, but because my environment was so detrimental, I was working 3 jobs at that time. I was struggling. I wanted to study and, save up money, but it was just so exhausting. The job itself was really tiring. I was coming back home at 6 p.m., super burnt out. And I was meal prepping, I was exercising, I was eating healthy, but I felt so shit on the inside that it just didn't matter what I did. Just nothing mattered. Like I would even experiment, waking up earlier. I would even listen to self-help books, podcasts to constantly improve, self-improve. And honestly, during those times when my environment was so toxic, I found that self-help, absorption of, knowledge through books, through podcasts, I found that was the most detrimental. I find that self-help, understanding and knowledge has its place and time, but not when you are crumbling by your environment and you are blaming yourself for not being good enough. I really want you guys to take away from this is, what does your environment look like? What is setting you up for success and what isn't? What is driving you to be successful and what is dimming your light? Is it the friends that you're surrounded by? Is it family members that are constantly bringing you down? Is it your job that's draining the life out of you? Is it your home environment? Is it the person that you're living with or people that you're living with are being super toxic? I think everyone needs to analyze their own environment to really understand, am I being set up for success or am I not? Because your environment completely impacts the way you think, the way you behave, the way you think about yourself, the way you show up to work, the way you show up for your partner or your children. It all has an impact. And I really, really, really want everyone to move away from micro-focusing on themselves, micro-focusing on how to be better, 1% better. I do think that there is a beautiful time and place for that way of thinking, but not when your environment is in absolute shambles, not when you have so much trauma and so many negative experiences and you're reliving them and then coming in the mindset of, what can I do to improve? Maybe I'm not this enough or that enough. Like, I really want people to move away from this mindset of thinking and really start posing questions or start removing triggers in their environment, to start adding things in their environment that are beautiful, that are fulfilling in your life. So I really, really hope that you think about whether your environment is setting you up for success or not, rather than continuing to blame yourself. Well, I have officially finished my rant. Ew. And I will see you in the next Unfiltered Chat. Bye.